Hi creative friends, this is Soraya and thank you so much for being here. So I'm gonna do this exercise over here and it's called draw into. Now I don't want to complicate things too much. One of the things about Elena Hennessy is I did mention that I took I think I took a couple of classes with her many years ago, and I have more of her books. And one of the things is that she's very adaptable, and she's like, I don't think, some artists are very specific when they are teaching a class, and they're like, you need to have these particular art supplies. But I think she, if I remember correctly, she's very open to like, hey, just use whatever you have type of thing. So I don't want to complicate things. This one is drawing into wet paint with watercolor pencils, but I do have watercolor pencils, you guys, and I may use them, but I also might just use my Stabilo pencil. So just use whatever you have. And I'm going to read what she says over here. So a fun technique I discovered years ago is drawing into wet paint. I found that if I took watercolor pencils and drew directly into damp acrylic, the pigment would show up in an inconsistent and interesting way. And in places where the pencil failed, the layer of paint underneath would be exposed. The lines you make will appear as some combination of the underneath layer and the pigment of the pencil. The watercolor pencil also leaves an indentation, which imparts a wonderful sense of texture and depth. So I'm going to bring this up closer here just so you can see, but like, isn't that beautiful? I just love this. Like, there's something so like calming and rhythmic about this. Like, I just really am drawn to it. Oh, you guys, I also wanted to tell you that if you were interested in purchasing this book, there are prompts like what I've been working on here, but then she also has some, what she calls mini workshops, which is really cool. So it's just like, these are like little prompts, and then these are just a little bit more, intense, like with a few more steps. But I just think it's like a good combination of, hey, if you wanted to try a prompt, then you can. And if you wanted to do like a little mini workshop, So I just wanted to point that out. But I'm going to move this off to the side here. And like I said, you guys, like, just use what you have and just kind of, adapt. If you don't have a Stabilo and if you don't have watercolor pencils, just try a regular pencil. Like, there's no right or wrong, honestly. So I think what I'm going to do, you guys, is I am going to use my blue Stabilo. And what I want to do is, so she says to draw into the wet paint. So I am going to let me see here how she did it. See, so she just painted something and then did the drawing over top of it. So let me just kind of do a quick sketch here. So I think I'm going to use this. And okay, we'll just make a sun. I love suns, you guys. I love moons too, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. That might be a moon actually. I don't know yet. And we're gonna, because I made the horizon line so low over here, I'm gonna kind of just make it a little bit higher up over here, just for some kind of variety. And make that sun a little bit bigger. Or the moon, I don't know yet. And yeah, we'll just kind of keep it. Let me see, do I want to keep it loosey-goosey right now? Do I want to add something else here? Let me see what she has. So she has like a mountain, and these are kind of some abstract shapes over here, which I really like. I might put an abstract shape over here. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll put like and put kind of, maybe I'll draw like a little house over here. I feel like I'm in grade school. I still love drawing houses when I was like really young. Okay, so there we go. So nothing too complicated, you guys. For these exercises, I would just focus on keeping your drawing slash painting very minimal, because like you want to focus on whatever the prompt is. That's the way I'm kind of approaching it. So what I am going to do is, let me just take a look at what she did here. Not that I'm copying her, but I'm kind of being influenced by her a lot. So, okay, we're gonna make, you know what? I'm just gonna use this ink, you guys. Why not? I'm gonna use this ink here, and it's gonna be really juicy. So, ooh, look at that, you guys. Like, look at that. That's juicy, juicy. Okay. And okay. And I don't want to get too complicated, so I'm just going to, I'm going to make a red house, because I'm kind of feeling like this house needs to be red. And I want to make like a yellowy background here. So whether this is a sun or a moon, you guys, is kind of not that important right now, honestly. Okay. So some of the yellow paint is going into the blue, and it is going to kind of make it a little bit like with a bit of a greenish tint, which is like totally fine. I like that actually. Okay. And now I want to make a red house, because I mean, why not? I want a red house. Do I want a whole red house, or do I want a red roofed house? I don't know. Actually, I may just put a red roofed house. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. You guys, I feel like I really am in like primary school, which is, you know, it's a good feeling to be in that like childlike state of play. And you know what, you guys, I think I'm gonna, well, anyways, let me, before all this dries, let me just like, so I'm gonna do what she says. I'm just gonna make some marks. Now this is Stabilo, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm using my Stabilo pencil, but I'm also going to use watercolor pencil. Okay, now I do like this, you guys. I do like it. I like what's going on here. Okay, so let me grab this red here. Now it's watercolor pencil, and let's see. And I think what I'm gonna do, you guys, is I want to like, you guys, I did mention I can get a bit compulsive with my patterning. So I feel like I just want to make this pattern here. I don't know. It's like therapy, and it's like a compulsion. So yeah, we're just going to make a pattern. And it's kind of what she said, like over here, she said, you know, even a little bit of a pattern, it has a big impact. And it's true. It's, I don't know what it is, you guys, but there's something about a pattern that your eye is just drawn to. I don't know from a psychological perspective if it's because we see patterns as safety, because we can predict, you know, just say all these lines, right? So you can predict the lines or whatever the pattern is. It doesn't have to be lines, but you can predict the pattern because it's repetition, right? So there's something about it that feels very comforting to human beings. Maybe it's just how we evolved. I don't know, but yeah. Okay, and I really love that. So I'm gonna see here what she does, and I don't know if I want to make, I might want to make like some, so I'm gonna put my Stabilo aside, and now I want something that's gonna show on the blue and the got some of this here. So I want something that's going to show on the blue and then also on the yellow as well. Okay, so I got a little bit on that. That's totally fine. And you guys, now you know what? Now I kind of got rid of the wetness, which is the whole, like, you know, she said, like, put the pencil in the wetness. So I'm learning as I go along as well. Okay, now let me see here. Okay, we're gonna use this gray over here. Ooh, okay, okay, okay. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. Okay. Okay, you guys, I might have to practice like a little bit more, but I'm kind of seeing what she means. Another good reason to do like prompts and stuff like that, you guys, is like it takes you outside of your comfort zone where you are a beginner. So what I mean by that is, just say you work in, I don't know, like, you know, certain dyes or inks or, you know, whatever, and you're an expert in that. Like, that's what you do, right? Well, you can get into an expert mindset, whereas when you do something completely different, it puts you in a beginner's mind. And that's a really good place to be, where you are full of curiosity rather than judgment, where you're full of excitement and play rather than, oh, what if I get it wrong, blah, 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 you know? So I just think that beginner's mind is so important. And doing, like, just stepping outside of our comfort zones, doing prompts, doing exercises, doing these like mini workshops. And it doesn't have to be this particular book, you guys, but I really love this book. I've had it for years. You know, it just puts you in that, like, in that state of beginner's mind. You know, I'm just gonna play. I'm not gonna think about the end result. I'm not gonna think about looking foolish. I'm not gonna think about, oh, what if I didn't do this, and what if I, you know, all of those things that we can, all of us, get stuck in. So it just takes you out of that, and it just puts you in like a state of, oh my god, like, I'm 6 years old and I just love the way the ink is just, you know, the mixing with the watercolor pencil and blah blah blah, you know. So yeah, now I think I'm just gonna leave this white, you guys, because I'm just kind of feeling it right now. But anyways, I hope that you guys try some of these exercises out. I think they're really fun, and you can adapt them, you can modify them, you can completely change them, but just use like a seed of the exercise, or you can replicate them exactly. There's no right or wrong way. You can even mix a couple of the prompts together. That would be fun too, which is kind of what I did here. Like, I added the pattern over there, you know, and I'm mixing. Now it does look messy, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna bring it up closer, but I can see how the, you know, putting a pencil in wet acrylic or ink or whatever is kind of cool. Okay, you guys, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.